Before you become lucid, you want to set a goal. You don't want to waste your opportunity wondering what you should do with your life. You can do that in reality. As for me, my goal for the time was simple. Asking my crush for advice. About how I should get closer to her, if I should at all, for that matter. Who better to ask, right? Maybe the actual person? Now, let's see how that went. The first time I became lucid after setting the goal, I was on a roller coaster, just without the cart. Instead, I sat on a bunch of ghost heads. Probably a reference to a certain anime. Either way, I enjoyed the ride a lot. So much so that I didn't want to change anything yet. In the end, the dream faded to black before I could do anything. The next time I became lucid was a little more interesting. It began with me sitting on the floor. I was staring at the stuff in front of me. At some point, I got lost in thought. Then, my crush sat down next to me. Still, I remained in my thoughts. And then on my right, another her sat down. That's when I knew I was dreaming. I turned to talk to her immediately. I opened my mouth, but then my neighbor's is the railing. Somehow it leaked from real life into the dream. So, thanks for that. Now finally, the third time began with a lot of action. Somewhere near the school, a battle was taking place. 3 Power Rangers, fighting one of their own, who turned evil. They exchanged many blows, but the fallen one was losing. As her final move, she used God's horn. Unfortunately, she was no longer worthy. Gates to hell itself opened. Soon, it dragged the fallen ranger inside. Despite everything, she was remembered fondly. Then there was me, just walking in the area. As I was walking, I noticed I didn't have my shirt on. To make things worse, I noticed a blonde-haired girl walking in front. She turned around while talking to her friend. Sure enough, it was her. It was then that I became lucid. First of all, I created a shirt. Then I made my move. I ran to catch up to her. When I did, it was finally time to ask her. She looked at me. I took a deep breath. But then, her face began losing details. Suddenly, the whole area around me changed. It became a dark, empty room. Even she was no longer there. Instead, there was another me. One that was a girl. How pathetic, she said. Yep, I know. Still, I thought that I might as well ask this version of me. I didn't have to say a word, however. I knew that she knew. Suddenly, a game-like UI table appeared in front of me. It had 8 tips, I guess. One of them was gaming in medieval times. Another was midlife crisis. As you may have guessed, that wasn't of much help. Soon, other thoughts invaded my mind. Until finally, I was lost inside the dream again. My journey wasn't successful. Still, that was enough for me. The final dream made me understand. Inside lucid dreams, what you believe goes. And deep down, I believed it would always be me answering these questions. Thanks for watching.